We're gonna play ball. Play ball. Yeah, Cassie's 10 months and a week old now. She likes when I kick the ball to her. She's waiting. So we're going to do another dogs, tips and advice movie tonight. Tonight we're going to talk about socialization and how important that is. So socializing is really important. So we're going to talk about that tonight, Kulika and I, and we hope you watch. Well, we're back in the house now. And today we want to talk about socializing. It's a very important topic. So we picked up Cassie when she was 8 weeks old. And that's usually about the time the breeder allows you to come and pick up the puppy. So we brought Cassie home. We introduced her to Sammy right away. Sammy's our cat. Come here, Sammy. And then everybody else in the house next. Then for a few days after that, we just took it easy. We just let her get used to the yard, the house. Us, of course, we're new to her too, so. And then, like, you have to be careful. Like, the dog has its first set of vaccinations usually about 8 weeks. Like, so the breeder had the vaccinations already done by a veterinarian. But still, the dog isn't fully protected till 16 weeks, its third round of shots. And then a couple weeks after that too, just to make sure they're in effect. So up until that point, you just can't let the dog run wild in dog parks or pet stores or anywhere where dogs frequent. Like, you can't just take her anywhere. But socializing is important, so what do? Like, don't do anything, let her just be sheltered in the home for 16 weeks? Or do you just let her go out and have fun and do all kinds of things and then get socialized? Well, you kind of got to do both. You just can't let the dog be unsocialized, and you can't just let her go anywhere you want because she's not protected yet. So, anyways, the dog has been in the house now for a few days. So, maybe it's time to start doing something. So yeah, maybe now is a good time to invite your relatives over, your other family members that are just dying to meet your new pup, but they didn't come over yet because we wanted the dog to get used to the house and stuff. So then you tell your sister or brother or nieces or nephews, uncles, whatever, yeah, come over and meet the dog. So then they come over to your house and they introduce themselves to your new puppy. So then the puppy is already getting experience with different people that don't live in the home, and maybe they can hand out treats too. Then the dog thinks this is fun, people coming over in their streets, and the dog likes that behavior. So then at that point, maybe now the next day, take the dog out to your front yard. Like, if she's been in the home now and she's been in the backyard for a few days, take her to the front, sit on the steps with her. Let her hear the noises and the sights, maybe people walking by and stuff. Sammy's looking from the inside. Cassie's outside and Sammy's inside. With the barricade up here. And then maybe the next day, like, take the dog and take her down the block in your neighborhood. And if you see a neighbor outside doing something, say, you want to meet my new puppy? Most of them always say yes. I mean, not too many people say, oh no, I hate dogs, I don't want to meet him. They say, sure, I want to meet him or her. So then they come up and they introduce themselves to the dog, and the dog's so happy to meet them. And then after that, maybe a day or two later, take the puppy to your work site, like where you work, and ask if you can bring your puppy by, and if they want to meet the puppy. And usually they say yes, because I know we did. We took her to our workplaces, and the people were so happy to meet her, and she was so excited to meet people. We're going into the hotel.
Cassie's hotel experience, very first one.
We'll go meet some people.
Everybody else pets it, and then Carolyn and Star come in the mall.
But at this point, you still have to be careful. Like, you got to carry her to places or drive. It's not good just to go walk across the street with the dog and go to the park or go to the pet store. It's just not safe yet because the dog vaccinations haven't been totally done now. Like, you might be at 10 weeks, but you need to get to that 16-week mark to have her full vaccinations so she's protected. So before that, though, you have to do what I'm saying, like introduce her to people and sights and sounds and all kinds of things. Because if you don't do that, if you don't do some socializing without worrying about the vaccinations, then you got to take some risk. But we don't. With our dog, we never took her to a dog park or the pet store or walked down the street even. Like, we waited. Like, we were worried about that. So, but you know, if you don't socialize a dog properly, you can have a different kind of dog.
Yeah, it's impossible to overemphasize the importance of socializing your dog. We know that from personal experience, because our previous German Shepherd dog, Lucy, that...
Keep going. Enjoy your run. You don't get out much like this. It's a special treat for you.
we had. When we got Lucy, the vet told us about their puppy their young puppy that they had that had got I think it was parvovirus, and the puppy ended up dying from that virus because they seldom recover once they get that, and that made me so worried and overprotective about my new puppy, and I was just scared to take her out anywhere out of our house, and as a result of that, Lucy ended up having such a sheltered life, and we got her in winter, and it was very difficult to socialize her in the middle of winter. And neither did we know the importance of socialization. So by the time spring came and we took her out to show her that there is more to the world than just our backyard, then it was too late. She was already growling at the neighbors and people who she met, and she was very skeptical about other dogs because she never had a chance to meet other dogs and other people. So, and she ended up growing up as a very fearful dog towards other people and other dogs. And as a result of that, we weren't able to take her everywhere where we went ourselves, so we had to put her to the kennel when we went on our trips because we were scared how she would react when we come across some other people or other dogs on some hiking trail. So when we got this dog, Cassie, we knew the importance of socialization, and so I'd advise anyone once the dog new puppy has been in your home for a few days, and as soon as you realize that the puppy is starting to feel confident and more comfortable with his surroundings, I think it would be a good idea to start taking her outside. While talking about socializing your dog, another important issue is to make sure that your dog would meet children. Children of all different ages, starting from toddlers and ending with 12-year-olds. So, and if you don't have children of your own, then you might want to make arrangements for your co-workers who have children to come over with their kids to visit your dog, or take your dog to children's playgrounds, which is what I did. I used to go close to a children's playground, and we sat on a bench, and I just had her watch children play and listen to their squealing and the sounds they make, and so that she would get used to those awkward movements that are so characteristic of kids. If your dog is not exposed to that from young age, then they might be scared later on in life.
So now, like when the dog has had its third round of shots, like it's 16 weeks now, you gotta wait a little bit, like 10 days to 2 weeks, till it's fully kicked in. Now's the time that you should introduce it to other dogs.
Walkathon. So we're really pleased about that. We see all the dogs have arrived back from the walkathon, and we're going to be having lots going on here today, so we hope you will stick around and enjoy this gorgeous summer Saskatoon day with us here at Pets in the Park. And our new program.
Because that's very important too. It's met people, it's met children, it's heard sounds, all kinds of things that you want a dog to be socialized in. But there's still so much more. So after the 16 weeks, you take your dog into a pet store. It's a perfect place. You go in there, there's other pets coming in there, there's people in there, there's kids in there walking around. And just go walking around looking at the products. And right there the dog is getting a social experience. Another good way to socialize is when you have to go do chores or go to the bank or whatever, get gas, take the dog with you. So she gets used to the car ride, and then she's excited to go. She wants to be with you. She's part of the family, so she wants to go too. And most dogs like car rides. But there probably is the occasional dog that doesn't like cars because maybe the person never had a car and they always had the dog in the house, or they went walking, or even a bus. Then the first time they go in the car, they don't want to go in, they're scared. So it's good to take her on car rides too, get her used to the vehicle, and she gets to see the world from that perspective, like through the car. Even go to a drive-through. Like our previous dog, like Kulika was talking about, like Lucy, I couldn't take her nowhere. When we went shopping, I'd have to park at the back of the parking lot, the farthest place away, or the dog would be foaming at the mouth in there and scratching the windows. And so if I parked closer in, it just didn't work. So I didn't take her with me anymore because she just was too aggressive because we didn't socialize her properly. So like Cassie here, I can go to a drive-through and the lady sticking her hands in the window getting the money, and the dog is just looking. She's not, could care less, like she's used to it. And she socialized with other people, so she knows if I'm accepting something, it must be okay. Like I'm not screaming or yelling at the person, so she accepts it. So yeah, that's a good idea to take them in the car with you too.
Important thing to emphasize is also that you have to keep in mind that your young puppy is going to go through certain periods of time in her life, which are called fair periods. Like one of these periods is happening right around the time when you bring your puppy home, right when your puppy is around 8 weeks old. So this is the time when your puppy is especially sensitive towards all kinds of new experiences, and he might get frightened. So you recognize this period when you notice that your puppy is kind of careful how he's approaching new objects, or how he's reacting towards new experiences. So it's very important that you make sure that nothing scares your puppy at that particular time. I know a few people who have a dog who is afraid of certain things, like for example motorcycles. Like years ago, my neighbor used to have a dog who was scared of motorcycle. Every time when he heard a motorcycle in the area, driving through the area, the dog got freaked out. So went completely out of control. So you don't want that to happen. You don't want a dog who is scared of motorcycles. Like when you're walking with your dog on the street and a motorcycle goes by, your dog could go completely out of control. And if it's a mature, adult, strong German Shepherd dog, they're pretty strong, you might not be able to hold their leash, and the results could be pretty unpredictable, or predictable for that matter. So it won't be a good scenario. You might even want to search the web for some recordings of different sounds, like thunderstorm. I know lots of people whose dogs have been scared of thunderstorms, so every time when there is a thunderstorm, they don't know where to put their dog or how to calm their dog. The dog is just going nuts over the sound of thunder and lightning. So what we did, since we know that there wasn't any thunderstorm around the time when our Cassie was at very young age, so we used to play her a CD with thunderstorm. I have some relaxation CDs with thunderstorm sounds. So I used to play those CDs for her, and now, ever since, whenever there has been thunderstorm, it could be lightning and some heavy thunder, and she's not scared. She doesn't care. So I'm quite happy to see that. And yeah, just make sure if something scares your puppy, try to reverse that damage right away. Try to make some kind of positive association. Try to distract your puppy. Try to play with him or give him treats or just whatever it takes to draw her attention away from whatever scared him. So it's very important.
So that's it for the video on socializing your puppy. We hope you enjoyed watching. And also I wanted to say that these are our experiences with our dogs we've had. It's our third dog, our second German Shepherd. So we're not experts, but we've learned along the way from the dogs we've had. If you have any questions, leave a comment and we'll try to answer.